The room was silent except for the ticking of an old wall clock that had been in my parents' house since I was a boy. My family sat around the worn oak table, Mom with her tired eyes, Dad rubbing his arthritic hands, my older brother Mike looking frustrated, and my sister Lisa clutching a stack of medical bills like they were a life raft in a storm. I had been sitting there for 20 minutes, listening to them talk about how hard life had become, how the bank was threatening to take the house, how Lisa's treatments were draining every penny they had saved. No one looked at me much. Why would they? I was just Alex, the quiet one who never seemed to amount to much. But tonight, something inside me shifted. I reached into the inside pocket of my faded denim jacket, the same one I'd worn for years, and pulled out a single sheet of paper. My hand trembled just a little as I slid it across the table toward my father. The paper stopped right in front of his coffee mug, edges slightly curled from being carried in my pocket all day. "What's this?" Dad asked, squinting at it. The hook of this story is simple. I never told them I owned a $1.6 billion business. Not once in 20 years. And that one piece of paper changed everything. If this kind of story about hidden struggles, family love, and quiet sacrifice moves you even a little, I'd be grateful if you hit that like button right now and subscribed for more real-life inspired tales that remind us what truly matters. Your support keeps these stories coming. Let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in this very house, the one with the creaky floors and the backyard where I used to chase fireflies with my siblings. We didn't have much. Dad worked construction until his back gave out. Mom cleaned houses and took night shifts at the diner. Mike was the golden child, star athlete, then a salesman who always seemed one deal away from making it big. Lisa was the dreamer, full of big ideas but fragile health that kept knocking her down. And me, I was the quiet kid who spent hours in the garage tinkering with old computers salvaged from the dump. At 18, I left for college on a partial scholarship and a mountain of student loans. While my family thought I was grinding through dead-end jobs after graduation, I was actually building something in a tiny rented apartment. I had an idea for software that could predict supply chain disruptions before they happened. It started as a side project, coded late into the night while I ate ramen and worked as a night security guard to pay rent. No one knew. I told my family I was doing IT support stuff. They worried about me constantly. The business grew faster than I could have imagined. Within 5 years, major corporations were licensing my platform. I stayed anonymous as much as possible, routing everything through holding companies and trusted lawyers. By year 10, the company was valued at over $1 billion. I had more money than I knew what to do with, yet I still drove the same beat-up Honda, lived in a modest 2-bedroom house on the outskirts of town, and visited my family every other weekend like any regular son. Why the secrecy? At first, it was fear. Fear that money would change how they saw me. Fear that relatives would come out of the woodwork asking for handouts. But deeper than that, I wanted to prove something to myself, that I could love them without the money defining our bond. I helped quietly, paying off small debts anonymously, covering medical co-pays through fake charities, sending bonuses from fictional jobs. But I never let them see the full truth. Then life hit hard. 2 years ago, Dad's health declined sharply. The house needed major repairs they couldn't afford. Mike's business collapsed during an economic downturn, leaving him buried in debt and pride. Lisa's rare autoimmune condition flared up worse than ever. The treatments her insurance wouldn't fully cover were 6 figures a year. I watched my family fracture under the weight of it all. Arguments at Sunday dinners became normal. Mike snapped at me once, saying, "Some of us are actually trying out here, Alex. Not everyone can coast through life." Lisa cried in the kitchen, telling Mom she felt like a burden. Mom just held it together for everyone else's sake, but I saw the exhaustion in her eyes. I wanted to tell them so many times. The words were on the tip of my tongue during late-night calls when Lisa was in pain. But something held me back. Maybe it was the fear that revealing everything would make our relationships feel transactional. I kept waiting for the right moment. That moment came on a rainy Thursday evening when the bank sent a final notice on the house. My family called an emergency meeting. Everyone gathered with heavy hearts, passing around documents and defeat. Mike suggested selling the house and splitting up. Lisa said she'd move into a cheaper apartment even if it meant skipping treatments. Dad just stared at the table, broken in a way I'd never seen. I sat there listening, my heart pounding so hard I thought they could hear it. Every memory flooded back. Mom reading me bedtime stories when she was dead tired, Dad teaching me how to fix a car engine with patience and love, Mike letting me tag along to his games even when I was the annoying little brother, Lisa sharing her ice cream when mine fell on the ground. They had given me everything when we had nothing. Now it was my turn. I pulled out that single sheet of paper. It was a simple valuation statement from my company's latest audit, signed and notarized, showing my majority ownership stake. At the bottom, in clear black ink, it displayed the current valuation, $1.6 billion. Dad picked it up first, adjusting his glasses. The silence stretched. Then his hands started shaking. "Alex, what is this?" I spoke softly, voice cracking with emotion I'd held back for decades. "It's mine. All of it. I built it from that old garage. I never told you because I wanted you to know me as your son first, not as some rich guy. But I can't watch you suffer anymore. The house is safe. Lisa's treatments are covered. Fully, for life. Mike, there's capital for whatever you want to rebuild. And Mom, Dad, you two are retiring. No more worries." Tears welled up immediately. Mom covered her mouth, sobbing in disbelief and relief. Dad reached across the table and grabbed my hand so tightly it hurt, whispering, "All this time, you carried this alone." Lisa broke down completely, saying through tears that she always knew I was special but never imagined this. Even Mike, the proud one, had tears streaming down his face. He stood up, walked around the table, and hugged me harder than he ever had in our adult lives. "I'm sorry, little brother. I'm so damn sorry." The next hours were a blur of questions, laughter through tears, and stories. I told them about the sleepless nights, the near bankruptcies, the lonely boardrooms where no one knew the kid from the small house in the suburbs was calling the shots. They shared their own hidden struggles too, how they had worried about me more than they let on, how they felt guilty for not being able to help me more. The challenges weren't over in an instant. Money solves problems, but it doesn't erase years of emotional distance. Mike and I had to work through years of resentment and misunderstanding. Lisa's health still needed careful management, but now without the crushing fear of bankruptcy. Mom and Dad struggled at first with accepting such massive help. Their pride was as strong as their love. We faced awkward moments, relatives suddenly appearing, old friends asking for favors, but we navigated them together, as a family. Through it all, the biggest lesson emerged. Success isn't measured in billions or valuations. It's in the quiet strength you show when no one's watching. It's in choosing humility over spotlight. It's in realizing that the people who loved you when you had nothing are the real treasure. Today, the old house is renovated but still feels like home. We gather there often, louder and closer than ever. I still wear that faded denim jacket sometimes, a reminder that the man underneath hasn't changed. And every time I see my parents laughing without worry, or watch Lisa chase her dreams with renewed energy, or hear Mike talk excitedly about his new venture, I know sliding that paper across the table was the best decision I ever made. If you're watching this and carrying your own secret burdens, or feeling like your efforts go unseen, remember this: your value isn't in what you have, but in who you are and how you love. Don't wait until it's almost too late to let the people who matter know how much they mean to you. Life is too short for hidden truths when connection is on the other side. Thank you for watching this story. If it stirred something in your heart, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment below. What would you do if you were in my shoes? I read every single one. Until next time, keep building quietly, love loudly, and never forget where you came from.